now to speak on how Donald Trump's victory as U.S. President-elect, described as one of the most welcome back in the political history of America, how it will affect Nigerians and the economy as well. Well, we have Dr. Niyi Akinsiju. You're welcome to Business Express to maybe dissect how this particular win will affect Nigeria and Africa in the next 4 years. You're welcome to Business Express.
Really?
Well, well, it's a difficult one for some people, while some are actually celebrating. But what can you say about this particular win, and what does it mean for Africa's development and Nigeria in particular?
Well, on one hand, we can acknowledge and, of course, commend the optimism expressed by Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in his congratulatory message to President-elect Trump. But some of us are not as sanguine as the president is a statesman, but we also need to express our thoughts because given the antecedents and, of course, the Trump that we all know between 2016 and 2020, I am particularly not too excited, especially when it comes to fundamental relationship between the global south and the global north. Global south as represented by Africa, Nigeria especially in leadership in the global south, and the global north represented again here by the American civilization, as it were. What I see, it's a dysfunctionality, because the truth of the matter is you have now, as president-elect, someone who has a history of scant respect for the global north. It's established between 2016 and 2020. So going forward, what I think could actually address that deficiency, as it were, may be where we find capacity organically within our own borders to grow our economy, and therefore, of course, start earning respect from the other side of the Atlantic. Then if we are able to do that, we may perhaps earn the respect of a president like Trump, who would want to do business with us. But first, we need to assert ourselves. We need to be seen by the global world, by the global economies, that we are actually growing organically. We have changed our economic model, and of course we are impacting, that economy, the outcome of the economy on the Nigerian people, and Nigerian people are also developing, seen clearly by the world, so much that we do not beg to be respected. We do not beg to be helped. We do not beg to be supported. What we are providing to the world, or what we are offering to the world, is an opportunity, for engagement, profitable, mutually beneficial engagement.
Do you see the possibility of getting that beneficial and mutual engagement? Because when you talk about engagement, we are also talking about trade. And we all know that Trump is in office to actually focus on America, not to really focus on what is happening outside there. And he made it particularly clear. We've seen it in the when he came the last time. He emphasized on tariffs on imported goods, most especially from China. Now Nigeria that is actually trying to reposition to take advantage, like in the African Continental Free Trade Area, would like to see, she would like to, Nigeria would like to see we now doing, business with America in such a way that we also, it will be of advantage to us, not just the America, America on the other side. So what do you think would happen now with Trump presidency? the nature of trade and tariffs, how will it play out? How do you think it will play out?
That's why I said it's about us. It's about our capacity to express and, of course, to exploit profitably our own natural resources, our own human capital, capital resources and all that, in a way that would impact on our people, such that the news that will go out of Nigeria to the world is a news of activation of capacity, you know. And I know Trump, being a MAGA, make America great again advocate or champion, which is, I mean, that the understanding of MAGA is America first, just like you said.
Yeah.
So when you say America first, it means that everything he's going to do, his policy would, of course, revolve around America. And to that extent, he would also be looking out for opportunities, you know, outside America where he could also profitably engage. And we need to underline that. If we move away from the paradigm of dependency, where we depend on either America or countries in Europe for support, if we move away from a paradigm of inconclusiveness in our economic philosophy, you know, we may be able to create a new environment of respect, mutual respect between us and even Trump. So it depends on what we are able to do with our own economy. So it's not good. Trump is not going to extend or reach out to us because he believes we are weak, because he believes there's a need to support us and all that. He will not. But I can tell you that if our economy grows and he knows that there will be beneficial there'll be beneficial returns to him in an engagement with Nigeria, I can tell you that he will relate with us. Then, secondly, we need also to note that either by providence, you know, Trump is inheriting an economy that is on the upward trajectory in America. America's economy is on the upward trajectory. An economy that had over the last 4 years, not even 3 years, the last 3 years to 4 years, the inflation rate, you know, scaled down from above 10%, you know, to 2.1% recently. And that also means that the Federal Reserve will most likely start cutting, just as it had cut 2 months ago. It will most likely start cutting its benchmark rate. And to that extent, it would mean that it would impact our own economy, because investors, American investors, will now start searching for possible environment to invest. So it could impact our portfolio investment drive, you know, to a large extent.
Okay,
so
now, a lot of people argue that they see Trump as anti-globalization. Well, his emergence now, don't you think it's actually good for Africa to now look inwards and, you know, see how we can possibly use what we have to our own advantage?
And it is anti-globalization to the extent that whatever America can do, America should do. And my own position too, though I am not an advocate of protectionism, but my own position also is that whatever Nigeria can do, Nigeria should do. And if you are able to do that, America will have no choice but to do business with you. You know, you are not going to beg for America, to come do business with you. You must be able to put your cards on the table, and America will see the possibilities of what you can do. So what Trump is going to teach us, developing countries of Africa, is for us to realize our capacity and in a way start earning respect from countries outside our continent. And it is very important. Okay. Whatever America wants to do, even if it's anti-globalization, the world is so wired in a way that we are interdependent on each other. No matter what Trump wants to do it, he will still need to reach out. Okay. If they are cutting, reducing benchmark rates, investors in America will still want to go places where they can invest. So if we have made our environment enabling enough to invest, American investors will come.
Okay, we've seen the market somehow responded to that particular win. We've seen a positive response in the cryptocurrency space, as well as the U.S. dollar. It made it stronger there with the emergence of Trump. Now, let's talk about the oil market dynamics. Nigeria is heavily reliant on oil exports now, and we all know that Trump is in favor of boosting supply, so that it will somehow reduce the power of OPEC. Isn't this really negative side for countries like Nigeria that really need to take advantage of our prices?
I don't consider it a negative sign. For me, I even think the election of Trump would help the crude oil industry. Don't forget that there had been a strong advocacy in Europe and America over time on transition to renewable energy.
We might likely see oversupply of oil.
Well, not exactly.
Because it seems like OPEC would not be in control. We know that the major oil producer out there is America. We have experienced him between 2016 and 2020, and the truth of the matter is, whatever I did with fracking, in those 4 years, did not overwhelm OPEC. OPEC still has its own mechanism, and there's no way, because again, even if it's overproducing and prices are forced down, it will get to a point that it becomes unprofitable, for American oil producers to continue to produce at a certain price. So he's also conscious, of the equitable, of the equivalent, the pricing, that will have to be applied per time. So it can't just flood the market. It would also need to consider a price level that is considered, mutually beneficial. The other thing, don't forget, we are saying is about America. So if American companies are producing at a certain cost, what they are selling, the selling price should not be lower than the cost price. And of course, OPEC is a major player in this field, and they understand that market. I don't think it will. Now on immigration, immigration issue. We all know that he is also anti-immigrants. What does this mean for our remittances that we so much depend on?
Well, it depends on how we are looking at it. Seriously, if we contextualize it properly, Trump is not against migration. But what he's saying is his border, he has trouble with neighborhood borders, the Mexico border especially. If you are traveling to the United States of America and you are going through the airport, he has no problem with that, But his major problem has been these Venezuela people, Latin American people storming, storming the borders, the land borders, and of course, running, some speeding, some running, however, illegally into that space. People will have headache, even if I am the one, I will have challenges. But if you are going in legally, and you have your papers, you are properly identified, you will get in. And that is how Nigerians, have been going. Okay. Now, it may determine that there will be a quota, or percentage of migrants into that space anyhow. But I know again that it cannot substantially stop people from going into the United States of America.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Niyi Akinsiju. It's a pleasure having you in the program.
The privilege is mine. Thank you so much.
Okay.